ladies and gentlemen, this is another best of 3. Game 2 currently underway. It is 1-0 in the favor of the player spawning here in the top left corner of the map. It is the red Zerg player from Chaos Latin Gamers, JimRising.
In the lower left, as the blue Protoss, it is EG's Huck.
So I gotta say, there are several points in that game where I just found myself astonished. Towards the end of the game, we had Lings taking on Archons like nobody's business. At the start of the game, we had DTs that were somewhat unseen, but predicted a little bit late out of JimRising. But regardless, both players managed to resolve situations. I think the real straw that broke the camel's back, though, were those Mutalisks. Holy cow, those Mutalisks.
Yeah, Huck just had seemingly no idea. No hallucinated Phoenix to check if there was a Spire down. No thought as to what could be coming after the Ling Roach attack. And remember, Ling Roaches is not something that you usually see as a consistent composition. It's something that you do once and then you're transferring into Hyjas or Mutas or a fast hive or something like that. So either he did think of it, but messed up elsewhere in the execution, or it just completely blindsided him.
I think, too, like, one of the big things to consider, though, if you're coming up against a player like Huck, not only do you know his playstyles from his prominence, but he's also closer to standard than I'd say JimRising would be. Huck, on the other hand, perhaps should have done some homework coming up against JimRising. Because what other Zerg players do you know that put macro hatcheries down before third? What other Zerg players do you know that dance so heavily around Lings? These are all kind of traits that JimRising has that a lot of other players have kind of grown away from. You know, I think Huck would be much more expecting things like Roach Hydras, not Roach Lings followed by a Mutalisk Remax.
Yeah. Oops. Amazing. So we have seen like players like Todd take on people who go for that Mutalisk switch with a competition like Huck. So it's not that Huck was immediately down and out because he only had Blink Stalkers. It was just that when Todd did it, I don't think it was quite as big as a Remax as JimRising, and I feel like that's because that's because Huck's aggression, besides that DT harassment, which didn't really do a whole lot, his aggression after that was never really there. He had to leave because Burrow came, and then he had to leave because there was just too much. He never got JimRising to really spend his money on anything else except, you know, for a Remax on Mutas.
Oh dear, let's hope this isn't happening again. The horrors of the earlier series. Now we'll give them a moment. This could actually just be legit lag this time. Not the server's crapping out, but no, it's Huck for now. We'll see if he turns into an observer and starts lagging out like we had with Major. But here's the thing, Huck, it seems like such a small thing, and I'm gonna go through the chat here. This mind game, him just calling fast Lings, this is really worrisome for a player like JimRising. Not that he was gonna go for incredibly fast Lings, but let's say he was. All of a sudden, you're caught with this mentality of a roadblock. Like, oh, does he know? Do I stop? Will he prepare for this? Will this be a waste of time?
Yeah, the drone scout is not just scary because, you know, a drone scout means that he's searching for what you have, but it's also scary because of what he, you know, this back and forth he's doing where Cybernetics Core would go. It's exactly what you do against a Terran player when you 6-pool. If you ever see that happen, they try and go with a drone and stop the second supply depot from fully walling off by just putting it on a patrol.
Game resumed.
Yeah.
That's why it just really does look so scary.
Well, appears to have recovered for the time being. Looks like we're good to go. Just for context, for anyone who wasn't tuning in earlier, there was some severe server problems that gratefully and graciously were resolved by Blizzard, not some random tech guy laying around hoping to fix things, but like actually Blizzard staff were looking into it, which was kind of cool. The thing about Copa America, for those who don't know, this is represented by and for Blizzard guys. It's a $15,000 tournament that they put on to help unite the, I guess the... Is it safe to call them the Southern American communities? I don't even know where everything is geographically, honestly. Because I know there's like
I'm an ignorant American here, so.
Right, but I'm saying like there's like Peru, there's Mexico, there's Spain, there's Brazil. I don't know how you would classify all those together. But the point is that they put a lot of money into this, Blizzard that is, to make sure that these players had a place that they could play, that they weren't going to get forgotten about in the world.
What?
And Zombie Grub.
What? No, that doesn't make any sense.
This is no look. This same problem as before. Oops.
Oh god.
Why did I type Tism? What? What? I was typing same problem as before. What could have possibly spelled that tism? Now it's me. Hi, me. I'm lagging.
Game paused.
Dear God.
This was a server issue. Same exact thing happened with Major's game before. Rehosting fixed it seemed.
Thank you for typing and tagging it out.
Sorry, I like to be informative, okay? I'm just gonna do it again. We waited for like 10 minutes. Didn't pass. Up to you guys, though, of course. So perhaps the same issues we were having before have not resolved themselves. Again, I want to stress this, like, no matter who you see come up on that lag screen, guys, it's not like your typical lag. It's not like Zombie Rob and I are downloading torrents in the background or something and Steam games all at once. This is something we saw similar to before.
Game resumed.
But they're saying just go for now, they'll rehost if there's continued lag. So hopefully, what's nice is this isn't going to impact the game at a critical point. The point where Major and Jon Snow were experiencing these problems, the game was already so far in, nothing else would have really mattered, I feel. But, yeah, they're saying they'll just go for the remake if it continues. Hopefully it doesn't, fingers are crossed. But as far as where we were before the lag kicked in, one big thing we do have coming out of Huck pretty quick here is this +1 weapon upgrades. Now, he's going for 4 gates in total off of 2 bases. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Yeah, 4 gates. I thought it was 5 for some reason. With this pylon already coming down, if JimRising was the type of player to take a 3rd fast, he would lose it. But he's not. He's the guy who puts the macro hatchery down.
And
Baneling Nest. Yeah, so does he have an idea this is coming?
This is like my new favorite player. It's who replaced Leenock. Get Banelings versus Protoss is maybe the best way to make me a fan.
I'm telling you, JimRising is such a fun guy to watch because he plays the game differently. Now, I don't know if this was planned to be a bust or not. A big part of why you don't see Banelings in this matchup, period, guys, is because Sentries, Force Fields, they just shut them down outright. But if Huck was going for a lot of +1 Zealots, Zerglings wouldn't stand a chance, but Banelings absolutely would.
Yeah. Isn't Huck the one that had the GIF? Isn't that the donut GIF?
Sorry, I don't know what a GIF is. Are you talking about GIFs?
It's GIFs. Just FYI.
You're talking about GIFs, right? Like GIFs, the animated
The guy
image
who
files?
made them said it was.
Yeah, but that guy's wrong.
Oh, okay.
No one.
Anyways.
No, you know what? You say it differently every time I talk to you. Anyways, don't pretend like you're just all righteous with GIF.
I know the right way to say it. I just say whatever comes to my, mouth first. Though.
I know what you're talking about. Though. There's that guy who plays the controller, Cress or whatever. He's got that one.
No. Well, I think there's like a bunch of different ones. There's the one with like the 90s like advertisement in the background where like they're freaking out, but
oh, there's like one with a guy like on a controller playing a video game in like this white tracksuit.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, that guy. It was like the 90s ad.
Yeah, so that's okay. We're probably talking about the same GIF, but yeah, I wish I could pull that up for stream real quick, but there's no force fields here right now, and that's what's gonna be really important. These Banelings. This is gonna be so awkward. I've not seen anyone shut down +1 4-gate like this, but he should. In fact, Huck might just be better off recalling. I don't think he can take this. He knows it as well, and he gets out alive.
Yeah.
Now these Banelings are essentially wasted, which kind of sucks, but
that is true. We have a fast into what was Blink changes it to charge. An interesting decision because we just saw Banelings.
I guess if you dive into the Banelings fast enough, you'll pop them.
Well, he's also getting stormed, so he's probably going for the exact same thing that he did, with the sentries and the donut, and then he stormed the donut.
That'd be so cool. Oh my god, if he does this. Oh my god. I don't know if we'll see that, though, because JimRising's not going to make any more Banelings beyond this. I mean, he's a crazy guy, but he's not that crazy.
That sentry was like,
oh, but a big surround, a big surround on these Zealots in a situation where +1 should be wrecking. They are not. Look at that spread, though, and Huck in that whole position as well to make sure these Banelings get as little damage in as possible.
What is this, Terran or something?
Right? Okay, so he wastes them all in 2 Zealots. That's going to give Huck the okay to go ahead. I don't like that he turned around like that, though. He could have kept those 5 Banelings alive.
Gets 4 pylons in total, as those were not canceled. A little oversight for Huck. But Huck looks to be going for a 3rd. Getting a lot more gateways because, of course, your army is gateway army based right now. Zealots and High Templars.
Well, he actually manages to maneuver around these. Gets a full surround. This will kill. Not even a cancel.
Cancel your stuff, please.
It's just like... I think he's stubborn, man.
That, I don't know if he's stubborn. I think it's just that you can't forget that he's on a laptop, so his micro potential isn't where it is. I mean, the split of the zealots was cool and all, but it was also premeditated. So.
Well, he gets another cancel, and these are things that otherwise to +1 zealot to +2 zealots for goodness sake.
What would be really good is if the zealots would stop chasing them, just stay near the nexus.
Right? Charge finishes up. Maybe that's why he was giving chase. But now there's Archons available, and JimRising's going to need a little more than just these lings, a little more than potential banelings, and he doesn't have a lot behind this. He's been banking up and saving for Mutalisks. He's got a huge bank ready to go, but he's going to need it sooner than later.
These 13, okay, yeah. Point taken, 13 Mutalisk with that many zealots. I don't know if it'll be quite enough. They take down the spine crawlers. For the spine crawlers get, oh, okay, they get one hit. But that third wood should go down. Now, if he splits his zealots and doesn't focus it, maybe not. And the Evo chamber seems like an alternate target. Alright, he's getting some roaches as well to make sure that these zealots don't do an awful lot of damage before they die. And maybe the Mutalisk can more quickly reach over to Huck's base before Huck can appropriately get enough stalkers. But with only 14
he cleans
mutas,
this up so well.
Yeah, he does. Oh, well, okay, the third did go down. That's Huck did what I thought it was going to do. In the
But he
first
takes another, so not the end of the world. Archon gets magic boxed upon, and the resources lost surprisingly even after that fight. But more zealots are on the way, and these Mutalisks are, oh, it's free food.
I don't think they eat it.
What, zealots?
Huh.
I imagine if you ate zealots, by the way, they'd probably be a little spicy because they turn into fire when they die.
Oh my god. Just like bite into it and like plasma explodes in your mouth.
I always thought for the longest time that they would do like damage upon death. I think that'd be pretty cool. I mean, you literally erupt into like a big burst of flames. Look at that stuff. How does that not do damage to things nearby?
I don't think it's flames, actually.
Okay, so plasma energies.
It's energy.
Because that's any less volatile than fire would be. In fact, if we're gonna get real talk here, fire and energy is basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Erupts with the might of 1,000 suns. Well, I think we've clarified multiple times at this point that StarCraft 2 doesn't have a lot of science or logic that holds true with anything, but oh, if he could have gotten those +3 weapon upgrades, that would have been huge. That takes so much power away from the Archon, so much power away from the Blink Stalkers, but finding himself in the same predicament as before, trying to keep up with the Mutalisks. This time JimRising, though, doesn't have an alternative attack. He doesn't have Lings flooding the third at the same time.
And it's not 20 plus immediately.
Yeah.
14 is a number where you can defend, you can wait a little while, you're on 3 bases, you're not, you still have a nice number of probes, you can get the defense, and you can really not just defend as well. Huck will eventually get a good number of stalkers where he might feel confident enough to push out and force the mutas in engagement with him.
Well, third base still alive, but ripe for the picking. I'm surprised we don't have those classic Huck pylons on Frost of all maps too. I expect to always see like a pylon here, a pylon up here, and ready to do warp-ins at all various locations. But Stalker is going to get absolutely wrecked. There's not enough mutas to kill his probe line though. In fact, he's going to bleed 1 or 2 of these out as the Blink will keep up with this army. And this is the Huck I'm used to seeing. The massive Stalkers, the crazy control, the reacting to the Mutalisks properly situation. In fact, splitting it very much intentionally, not bringing them all to the main so they could do precisely this move. Trying to corner them in.
Got a little bit screwed on the map right there. Couldn't quite reach him.
But there's roaches coming up behind this. We got Burrow Tech coming out once again.
Oh,
what is up with this Spire?
I haven't seen this bug in a while on GameHeart.
It looks like it just got fried alive and this is the remaining char. Like you would touch this and it would just crumble to pieces. I forgot about that.
Suddenly came up again. Yeah, I don't know what. I guess all the lag caused it, obviously.
You know, the first thing I thought of when I saw it though was that one Spire on the Starbow map.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think that's what, when I first saw it on the map, I was like, that looks like when it's messed up on GameHeart.
Okay, well, Stalker's trying to engage the Mutalisks. There's not a lot here as they have moved out. They're going for a counterattack. I think Huck's kind of figuring, like, if you're devoting so much attention here, you might not have a lot at home.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I'm talking about. Feels confident enough to do this, and he forces the mutas to potentially turn home.
There's no detection for the Burrow either, so, I mean, if this gets out of hand, JimRising can save a lot of these roaches, but man, does he brute force that. Goes right into the melee range of those Archons. He takes about half the army out and goes to the Burrow for recovery. Back at home, still dealing a ton of damage to these Stalkers, still bleeding out a lot of these units, and Huck's resources lost is not looking so hot right now, but JimRising's very close to losing a base.
Losing 2 bases. There are zealots attacking the 4th, which is not mining, but that would have been the backup if the drones did have to evacuate.
I think he's gonna hold this
However,
actually. The roaches are looking
yeah.
really good. Blink Stalkers with
holding
level 3
here.
weapons.
And he's still attacking on the 3rd. Huck again. He tries to make the right move and just gets shut down.
Well, the roaches have almost no health. The advantage to Burrow heals very, very quickly. So rather than coming to the next battle with almost no roaches with no health, he should probably have a pretty nice army. Nexus does fall down here. He's even going to get some pylons for his trouble, but he needs to start disengaging out of this. Keeping these Meatless alive, very important, because he's not going to be able to make more for a long time.
It's less about the Mulas right now, though. There's a reason why he hasn't dedicated any more into them. Is because while they're still good, if you got 40 Mulas, of course, it's not necessary. You don't have to play that long game. He could probably just brute force with these upgrades and these roaches.
Yeah, again, I can't stress how good that fight was for JimRising, because he was at a major upgrade deficit. Huck had level 3 weapons. He had Archons that deal bonus damage to roaches. He had the Stalker count, but we didn't see that Gosu Micro we're used to seeing on a Huck. Now coming across the map with these roaches, there's no sentries here to segment them off, and that's the biggest thing that shuts down roaches. Those force fields cutting the army down. Archons go down like nobody's business, and there's still no detection. Actually, no, where's that one observer? Okay, the observer is coming here, so no more bro tricks to get out alive, but he takes down the Archons, he takes out a majority of the Stalkers. Huck is bleeding out so heavily, and look at that, look at the supply difference!
Yeah, it's huge. It's been huge. Maybe if Huck had started utilizing sentries in both of those attacks, the attack and the defense, he could have really started shaving off a lot of the supply, because again, roaches are very supply heavy. You know, suddenly 10 roaches go down and it's no longer quite the difference it looked like, but he just never bothered to get sentries the entire game, I think.
Well, as the game gets closer to the end here, someone in chat referring to the Spire being like a shiny Pokemon. That's why it's a different color.
So it's a dull Pokemon, it is the crappy Pokemon.
No, don't you... Shiny Pokemon have like different colors than normal Pokemon. So like a Charizard will be black instead of red.
But they're cool looking. This Spire just looks dead.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Actually, no, look at it researching. That looks really cool with the pulsing red. Alright, Meatless are in the main. Roaches have compromised the natural. Huck's trying to do what he can with the cannons, with the Stalkers, but this game is pretty much over. JimRising, I called it 2-1 in this series. I couldn't be happier to be wrong, but really? It's JimRising that 2-0s? Nothing against Jim, but again, Huck was just statistically the favorite coming into this, but GG thrown down. JimRising will rock the series 2-0. Our Chaos Latin Gaming friend. Congratulations to him.